Hello, everyone. It is so good to see you um, today on this video. I want to just bring up a couple of things before I hop into our topic, which I'm really excited about. I want to talk about the path of partnership, which has been on my mind for a while. But before I get into that, if you happen to be watching the replay or listening to the podcast, I would be so happy if you would take the time, if this moves you, to comment and share what landed, what resonated, what questions you still have in the comments below. I get a lot of messages from people, or I'll run into people at events and they share how important my content is for them. It would be really great if you would give me a share, a like, a comment, because it helps boost me in the Facebook algorithm, for one thing, which means that more people have an opportunity to benefit from the content that you're enjoying. So that's the other thing. And it really is wonderful to hear from you directly on a video that matters to you. So I hear sort of general things about how great the content is, or people will get recommended like, oh yeah, Elle's content's great. But really, if you are like, time it to, yeah, this landed, that just means the world to me. So if you have the time to do that, do that. If you're listening to the podcast, please become a subscriber. So without a whole lot of further ado, I want to talk about the path of partnership. And this phrase, path of partnership, sort of came out of my mouth almost accidentally when I was having a conversation with some clients inside Mindful Dating. I am a lifelong spiritual seeker. I have a doctorate in theology, and I really think in terms of spiritual path and life being a journey. I think in those terms all the time. I maybe run a little bit towards the mystical side, but for me, being on a spiritual path is really important. And in fact, halacha means the way or the path, and this whole concept, and so does the Tao, by the way, also means the way. It's a path, right? And so this term sort of spontaneously came out of my mouth during a group session, and it describes people who recognize that partnership is a spiritual path for them. It is part of their spiritual calling. It is part of their growth path as a human being. And they know that the path of partnership is the next step on their soul growth. Because there are ways we can only grow when we're in a partnership, when we're in a really solid, committed partnership. There are ways we can avoid growing if we're not in one. And a lot of times, like, I think, based on my own personal experience and some of the experiences I've seen, sometimes people get divorced because they're just not compatible. But sometimes people get divorced because there's a growth opportunity. The incompatibilities have something to do with the ways in which one or both of those partners need to grow or take that next step towards maturity or spiritual depth or whatever you want to call it. And that's like an opportunity that was missed if people opt out of the relationship. And I often felt that way about divorcing my former spouse, that it was really sad that we weren't able to both grow through our difficulties and our challenges. And when I was single, I was really clear that there were ways that I couldn't grow, that I had pretty much maxed out my spiritual growth without a partner who would provide me with the challenges that you get when you're only in a partnership. Like, if you're single, you can insulate yourself from so many challenges. It's just insane. And I realized that I was pretty good at creating a life that really didn't trigger the things that are maybe most vulnerable and sensitive. So one of the first things I want to talk about related to the path of partnership is, do you need a partner? Like, are you on the path of partnership before you have a partner or a spouse, or is that something that you only get to claim after you have the partner or spouse? And I think that the path of partnership often calls to people who are single now, and you are already walking it before you even meet that person. You're preparing to meet that person. And what that means is that you know that there are some inner parts inside you that are pushing away love. And I don't really know where this comes from. I'm sorry, but there's a saying that you don't need to search for love. All you need to do is search yourself for all the things that oppose love and rid yourself of them. And what you're doing is, when you are doing the Mindful Dating Intensive, when you are doing the growth work you need to do in that personal change journey you need to take to be able to date and find a partner who's good for your soul, you're already on the path of partnership, even when you're single. You're doing the growth work. you are going to continue that throughout every stage of your relationship. And that is going to happen during the very early parts of courtship. It's going to happen before you meet your partner. You're going to have to say no to the wrong people. It's going to happen in the beginning with your partner because, whoo, I'll tell you, there is nothing like falling in love and getting vulnerable to awaken all the parts that struggle to let love in. And sometimes other people are already in a partnership and they realize they're walking down the same road, about to fall in the same hole. They realize that what is within them that pushes away love is about to push away this awesome partner. But the hole they're falling into wasn't dug by their partner. This thing that they're about to repeat has really nothing to do with their partner. It's about them. It's already inside of them. They know that they have to more intentionally learn to navigate the hole, choose a new road right next to a partner. They know they need a partner with them alongside them to do the same work beside them, because they know that that hole is actually something that's from a really long time ago, and they need to take responsibility for learning how to do things differently. And it's challenging when there's already a partner next to you, and it's also easier when there's a partner next to you. So it's both a little harder and a little easier. But why on earth, if it can be a little harder and a little easier, why would anyone want to be on that path? And like I said before, some things that oppose love only really come to your awareness when you're in the day-to-day with a partner. And without those challenges, you aren't going to know those things that are coming up. So for example, you can think you're choosing a different road, but what you're doing is just choosing not to walk down the road at all. You're not letting people in. You're not getting intimate. You're not learning to trust. You're not overcoming the residue of abandonment, of betrayals, of losses that you've had. So you're able to sort of sidestep just the journey itself by staying single. And when you start to get into an intimate relationship, that is when a lot of this stuff comes up. It's going to come up when you're just starting to date. And for a lot of people, it comes up inside mindful dating. And then they get to know those parts. They get a lot of self-energy. They're able to stay calm. And then before too long, when they're out in the dating world, a lot of those inner dragons resurface, and they're using their skills and they're navigating it differently. And then they find this amazing person. And then some of those dragons come up, different dragons, for some different healing work. And when you do that in a partnership and you do that healing work and you allow yourself to like really get that what comes up for you is actually your stuff, the result is courageous love. And how Dick Schwartz defines courageous love. Dick Schwartz is the founder of IFS. He says, courageous love is about the courage to love someone despite the potential for tremendous pain. And I know that doesn't sound like I'm selling relationships, but the reality is people are finite, and no matter what, all relationships end in tears. Either somebody betrays somebody, leaves somebody, or they die. They don't end necessarily with kumbaya moments. They end in pain. And courageous love means we're willing to let someone in, love someone fully, even though we know they're human and fragile and they won't be here forever. And this allows us to achieve a depth of healing that leaves us with the ability to trust, in Dick Schwartz's words, that no matter what our partner does, we really will be okay. Maybe not great, but okay. Not because we can cut ourselves off from our feelings, but because we have trust in our self-leadership. We have trust in our soul, in our sacred core, that part that is always connected to the Holy One, the part that's connected to Hashem, God, the center of the universe, the cosmos, whatever your word is. We have trust that at our core, we are connected to that, and we will be okay. We can endure, we can grow through, we can be with the pain of loss. And that, as a result, knowing that leaves us with the ability to form strong, lasting self-to-self connections with our partner. So we're not in this part to self relationship, or it's not like all parts where we're arguing all the time, bickering all the time, feeling triggered, they're triggered, everybody's angry. We're in a place where we can be in self energy and our partner can be in self energy and have this amazing connection where we are able to speak for our parts, ask for what they need, and have a hope of getting our needs met. So, and I just see that someone just popped in with a thank you so much. Thank you for thanking me. That is awesome. I appreciate so much knowing that this is helpful for you to think about the concept of being on the path of partnership. If this concept calls to you and you're single, please know the Mindful Dating Intensive is the place for you. That is 100% where you need to be, because you are going to learn so many tools to get to self energy, that place where you're always connected to the sacred and your source of sacredness. And you're going to get a whole bunch of other skills that will serve you very well in having a healthy relationship and being able to choose a partner who has the capacity to have a healthy relationship with you. When you have that, you're in a great place to then open your heart in the safest possible way with the safest possible person. And I was inside my group earlier today, and someone was talking about how, just last year she just broke up with someone who was a narcissist. And she's really afraid she would end up in that again. And I said, the thing is, that's when parts do the picking. When self does the picking, it goes differently. And it will be an entirely different situation. Your picker is better. So you're not going to have to worry about picking a narcissist. You're going to be self-led. And when you're in that place, standing in your value, truth, and strength, you're so not appealing to narcissists, addicts, liars, and cheats. And you're so able to tell when people are incongruent and when they're not lining up, when they're not values-led, when they're not being direct with you and fully congruent with their value system. So the path of partnership helps you clear away all the things that make you incongruent, help you get fully congruent, and then connect with a partner. So if you don't have that partner yet, mindful dating is 100% for you. And if you do have that partner and both of you want to walk that journey together, it totally lights me up to work with couples who want to do this work side by side, who want to become self-led and have self-to-self relationships, get to know themselves on that really deep level, and share what they're learning with each other. So Path of Partnership is the coaching that I offer for couples. Sometimes only one person wants to be in that, and that's okay too. I do offer private coaching. And even if one person is in the coaching situation, it's still helpful. It still leads the way towards that healing that needs to happen, at least within the person that I'm working with. And sometimes, almost by magic, the other person responds as well. So those are the coaching offerings that I have for people who perceive themselves to be walking on a path of partnership. So if that's you, please reach out. I would love to have like a quick connect, 15 minutes, to see if I might have something that really works for you, if we might be a good fit, what the next steps might be. And I hope that this has been helpful. I would love to hear from any of you who have listened in the comments on the podcast or the comments below on Facebook, just what is landing with you. I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you so much. Bye.